What does today actually mean for the incoming Archbishop, and what will the next few months look like? Let's talk to Chris Deacy. He's an honorary reader in theology and religious studies at the University of Kent in Canterbury and is with me now. Hello.
Hi, good morning, Dom.
Good morning, Chris. And first of all, let's just talk about what happens when there's an enthronement or installment in Canterbury. It's a real buzz in the city, even if you don't have any religious bone in your body.
Absolutely. And there's always that sense of excitement because obviously Canterbury is a very tourist city, a pilgrimage city for a lot of people, both those who have faith and those who don't. I mean, in terms of the historic buildings, and to be here for the enthronement, that won't be till March, or the installation, I suppose, is really what we should be calling it in this day and age. But today is an important step on that process, which will be taking place within the next 2 months.
Yes, and today all eyes then will be there at St Paul's. Really interesting to read. I've got in front of me, I've got all of the details of the service, so what's going to happen from around, I think, 11 o'clock this morning. So lots going on there. This is history making, though. Legal confirmation for Dame Sarah Mullally, the new Archbishop of Canterbury. What does that actually mean in terms of how it works out? Because it's history in the making, the first time any of this process has been undergone by a woman.
Absolutely. So the first time in 1,400 years. And I remember I was actually doing theology at university in the early 90s. And I remember we were all gathered around the TV set. I even remember Francine Stock, BBC Two, and we were waiting for that historic moment when the synod allowed women priests. Now that was 11th of November 1992. We've come quite a way in that time, although arguably, considering 1,400 years since Augustine of Canterbury was the first archbishop, it's taken a while. And a former nurse as well, which I think is, there are lots of metaphors that we could use for this. The church could certainly do, I think, at the moment with somebody with that set of skills. A very exciting, a landmark moment. Some would, I think, quite rightly say that it's, not a moment too soon.
Interesting to read just some of the parts from Bishop Sarah. Currently says it's extraordinary, a humbling privilege to have been called to be the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury in this country and around the world. Anglican churches bringing healing and hope to their communities. I will seek to guide Christ's flock with calmness, consistency and compassion. Those three C's there. It's been a really, quite frankly, turbulent time, hasn't it, for the Church of England, particularly with Justin Welby, the headlines surrounding him and when he left that post. So people will scrutinise this next post. They already have. You can see it in the papers pretty much on a every other day basis, Chris.
That's right. And because there's the legal question, first of all, that this is today to confirm that last year's election, which chose Sarah Mullally to replace Justin Welby, was legal. But as you say, then there's the other side here, that there's a lot of hope and expectation, but it comes with risk as well, as you say, people raising questions about, as you would imagine, particularly, both in terms of the issues which saw Justin Welby lose office, which again was unprecedented in the church. We've been really without an Archbishop of Canterbury. Obviously, the Archbishop of York has stepped in, but it's been over a year now since that happened. So I think a lot of people will be looking now for some form of stability.
And interesting, isn't it? This instalment will happen in March in Canterbury. BBC Radio Kent will be live there in the morning on The Breakfast Show. And the big day is also in Lent. So we always think, how do you make a cathedral camera ready for a worldwide audience in a period of restraint? But that's for the people behind the scenes to try and work that out. I guess less flowers, but we'll find out. Thank you so much for being with us, Chris. Nice to talk to you this morning. And no
Absolute
doubt
pleasure.
You and I will chat in March.
Yeah, on the 25th of March.
Chris Deacy, honorary reader in theology and religious studies at the University of Kent, on the day that the new Archbishop of Canterbury will be today going through that very historic moment, becoming the very first female Archbishop of Canterbury, the official bit, the paperwork, quite frankly, and a service that will be taking place as well. Confirmation of the election of her there at St Paul's.